Yo, have you had your dose of pep today? No? It's okay. I got you. Let's go. What's up, family? Welcome to episode 8 of the Pep Talk podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay, and the mission of this podcast is to cheer you on and to coach you up. We are quite literally saying that you're awesome. You're awesome. In case nobody's told you that so far today, you're awesome. And I want to celebrate your awesomeness, but I also believe that there are levels to this. We can get better. We can go higher. We can dig deeper. We can elevate. And that's the purpose of this podcast. I want to give you your flowers while you're alive to smell them. But I also want to tell you that as great as I think you are, you can become greater today, this week, this month. I'm telling you that you're great. I believe that you're great, but there's still more growth for you to accomplish, and that's the purpose of this podcast. That is why we're here. We're going to celebrate you, but we're also going to coach you up. Now that I've gassed you up, I want to circle back around to something that I said in an earlier pod. I said that I would rather be abundant than rich. And so I received an email from a listener who reminded me that I needed to go back and clarify what I mean by this. So I thought that this episode would be a great one to tackle the subject, because in doing so, I get to talk more about mindset. And y'all know that's my jam. So when we come back, get ready to shift with me. But until then, I don't know where you are and who you're with, but I just need you to enjoy this music and get peppy with it. Let's go. Be right back. Hey, Coach Jay here, and listen, something really cool has happened to the podcast. We are now on Black with No Chaser Radio at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Monday mornings in their drive time slot. So now you can listen to the Pep Talk podcast on your way in to work on Monday mornings. All you have to do is download the Black with No Chaser Radio app in your favorite app store to get peppy on Mondays on the radio with Coach Jay. Yeah, this is big news. Remember, catch the Pep Talk podcast, not just on your favorite podcast providers, but also now on the Black with No Chaser Radio app, Monday mornings at 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all keep it peppy. And we're back. So, before I jump into today's topic, I want to keep encouraging you all. I love your ratings. I love your reviews. I love getting your emails. Please keep subscribing, keep liking the content. Keep telling your friends about what we're doing. We're so proud of it, and we're so thankful to have you all along for the ride. Now, today we're talking about what it means to have an abundance mindset. But in order to do that, we also have to talk about what it means to have a scarcity mindset, because all of us fall into one of those two camps. And I would even venture to say that the pandemic pushed people even further into a scarcity mindset than they may have already been. So I remember when I was a teenager, I got an allowance from my parents. It was nothing extravagant, but I remember hoarding it. I would pull money from it here and there, but I was always afraid that I would run out and that there would be no more, even though I knew that every week, my dad would slide me a little bit of something, and it would go into that drawer that I kept things in. And so I realized that it was irrational for me to think that I wouldn't get something next week, even if I used up all of my money for the week. And it went beyond just saving the money. I had a real deep-seated fear that at some point the money would run out and I wouldn't have it, and I couldn't shake it, because somehow in my mind I could see the direct correlation between me pulling $20 from my stash and suddenly becoming poor, which would lead to homelessness and then complete abject failure in life. There wouldn't be enough. That in essence, That's what a scarcity mindset is. It tells us, it convinces us that there's not enough and that there will never be enough. So because there is never enough and there will never be enough, I have to scrap, claw, and compete for everything that I need in this life. A 2017 study from Harvard on the correlation between poverty and counterproductive behaviors tells us what we already know, that being in a constant mindset and state of poverty creates a desperation in us, which gives way to behaviors that can be linked to crime, drugs, and violence. The interesting thing about this study, though, is that they also identified poverty as a state of mind and not simply a physical lack of money. And in keeping with their research, somebody could be rich financially, but if they perceive their lives as one of poverty, then the mindset that sets in might push them toward some of those same behaviors. Now, let's push it further still, because scarcity mindset is not just about finances. Because it is a mindset, any belief that there is not enough for you in any sense, in any space, in any circumstance, that scarcity mindset begins to set in. Not having enough friend opportunities, not having enough relationship options, filing for bankruptcy, filing for divorce, maybe some past trauma in your life, some other examples. A scarcity mindset around weight could set in when you have cut certain foods out of your diet in order to get healthy. Then you might begin focusing on what you can't have versus what you want, and then binge on the items that you're not supposed to have and find yourself back at square one. If you have a scarcity mindset around time, then you are so hyper-focused on time, and we talked a little bit about this in the last episode, that you're always aware of its passing. Many midlife crises are related to having a scarcity mindset around time. And if any of these things are triggering you, let me stop and tell you first that your emotions are valid. They're real. However, the damage that these emotions and this mindset can have in your mental and physical health are real. They don't add to you. They steal from you, and they suck the joy out of life. And we need to talk about rerouting these emotions and thoughts, because if you are constantly focused on what you don't have, then you will begin or continue to sink. Now, because I want to help, here are some signs that you might be living with a scarcity mindset. 1, thinking that you always lose and others always win. 2, believing you're always in competition with others. 3, being overly controlling. 4, being generally pessimistic. 5, feeling like you are always running behind. 6, being impatient. And 7, overscheduling yourself. Now, I have fought with the scarcity mindset over the course of my life. There have been so many times in my life where I have felt in my bones, in my soul, in my spirit, that I was going to run out of whatever, and there was never going to be a day where I would have what I needed to be able to survive. And I can remember just the paralyzing, helpless feeling that accompanies that, and how it leads to depression and me questioning my identity, questioning my worth to my family, my worth to my wife, my worth in my profession, that I may never be able to offer anything of value to anyone because I might run out of my gift. I might run out of my talent. And then I would be of no use to anybody around me. Y'all, I'm telling you, the scarcity mindset is real, and it still vexes me from time to time. But rather than allow you to sit and stew in the scarcity mindset, I want to provide an option for you. Rather than staying entangled in scarcity, I'd like to invite you to shift. And we're going to talk about shifting to an abundance mindset right after this. Be right back. All right, so welcome back to episode 8 of the Pep Talk podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay, and we are talking about moving from a scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset. And just to recap, a scarcity mindset is where you feel like there's never enough and that there will never be enough. And listen, if that first segment was triggering to you, because I know that this can be a heavy topic, I want to encourage you to find someone that you can talk to. Therapists are great with helping you with this. Finding a life coach or a mindset coach who can help you navigate these limiting beliefs is great and can help you find some ways to be set free in this, because even though it's heavy, I believe that it is my blessing that I get to speak to you about this, because I know what it's like to be caught there. And I want to help you get free. And I believe that, if you listen to what I'm saying and listen to what my heart is in this, I believe that you can experience some measure of freedom and a shifting in your mindset and the story that you're telling yourself about what you have, what you can have, what you will have in the future. That can be liberating for you. And listen, none of this is judging. I'm just trying to make us aware of our mindsets, make us mindful, so that we can change them. Remember, if you change your mindset, you change your life. Let me say that again. You change your mindset and you change your life. That is what we are believing every time we come to you on Mondays with this podcast, with this pep, is that if we can get one person to think differently about their lives, then we've done our job. So we left off saying that there was an alternative to scarcity, right? So let's dig into what the abundance mindset is. And I want to be clear here that I'm not talking about manifesting. I'm talking about a concrete way of thinking about life and the things that happen in it. So let's define what an abundance mindset is. It's the belief that there is enough for everyone, that you won't miss out on any good thing that is in this life for you. It means that my best friend can prosper, but I can too. It means that you, listener, can find wealth and happiness, but so can I, because there's plenty of it. There's an abundance in the world. There's enough for everyone who is actively looking for it. With all of that being said, now let's compare the scarcity mindset with the abundance mindset, shall we? Yes, we shall. So a scarcity mindset focuses on what is lacking, while an abundance mindset is focused on unlimited possibilities. A scarcity mindset says I have to compete to stay on top, while an abundance mindset says I can collaborate and we can all win together. A scarcity mindset is threatened by the success of others. An abundance mindset freely celebrates others' success and is inspired by it. A scarcity mindset has elements of entitlement and fear to it, while an abundance mindset is focused more around a deep sense of gratitude. Scarcity plays small and is risk-averse, while an abundance mindset embraces risk and looks to move outside of any comfort zone. A scarcity mindset is a fixed mindset. An abundance mindset is a growth mindset. A scarcity mindset lives off of external validation. An abundance mindset validates itself. Now, I think we all have elements of both in us. And as I was pulling this list together, I thought about my own journey. Do you know that I was afraid to even let people know that I was a mindset/life coach? I thought people would think that I was corny or that I had lost my mind. Then I had an epiphany. Was I going to live my life on the validation of others, or was I going to free myself to explore every possibility of potential that I had in my life? Was I going to be afraid that my practice would not happen? Or would I learn to enjoy the process of growing something new and doing something entrepreneurial that I had never even pondered before? Listen, here's what I say about potential. It's not meant to be permanent. At some point, I had to decide to put into practice, to make active the potential that was laying dormant inside of me. And you have to make that same choice. You have to validate yourself. And see, when I made the choice to change my mind, my life began to open up naturally as a result. So maybe you're listening to this episode and you're asking yourself how to move out of a scarcity mindset and into one of abundance. When we come back, I'm going to give you 4 ways, I have to give you tips to move into an abundance mindset. I want you to come back with your paper, with your notes open, because it's going to get really, really good. This is episode 8 of the Pep Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay, and we're talking about ways to move you from a scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset. We'll be right back. Stay peppy. Okay, we're jumping right in. 4 strategies for moving from a scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset. Here we go. Number 1, be aware of your thoughts and reframe scarcity-minded ones. Now, you all know that I am a huge advocate of practicing mindfulness. There being minding your mind. You have to know what you're thinking about so that you can change what you're thinking about or how you were thinking about certain things. Take those thoughts captive that lead you toward scarcity. See, when you begin to have thoughts where you feel threatened from someone else's success, quickly identify the source of that thought and reframe it in a way that removes the threat and frees you to celebrate. Make note in your journal about what you believe in that moment so that you can identify it the next time it arises. So, let me say one more thing about this. When I'm telling you to take your thought captive, I'm telling you to quite literally filter what comes through your mind. Is it pushing you to feel threatened by somebody else's success? Is it pushing you to believe that you've missed out on something? Is it pushing you to be jealous of someone or to believe that you don't have a place or that there will never be enough? If so, get rid of those thoughts and reframe them into thoughts that let you know and comfort and reassure you that you don't have to be threatened by anybody. You're not in competition with anybody, and that there's always room at tables. If there's not room, then you have the skills and abilities to build your own table, but it starts by being aware of your thoughts and reframe those that are scarcity-minded ones. Number 2, train your mind to recognize opportunities, not limits. Our minds are created to focus where we repeatedly tell it to focus. Therefore, if we're focused only on our limits, our minds will only look for the limitations inherent in any situation. However, when we tell ourselves that opportunity is truly unlimited, we remove the blockers and blinders on our minds and free it to focus on solutions that allow us to thrive. Y'all, your mind is more powerful than you think it is. And when you tell your mind actively, there is more, shout out Pastor Ray Harmon, there is more, it truly begins to operate like there actually is. And it looks to identify every opportunity around you and within you. Listen, your mind is not a free agent. You can train your mind to work for you. So train your mind to be like a bloodhound, sniffing out those opportunities and ignoring the limitations. You feel me? All right. Number 3, read inspirational stories. Just read. I recently read Stephen A. Smith's memoir, and it was incredible. It came at a time where I was experiencing a heaviness. But as I listened to it, and I listened to him talk about how he overcame poverty and being left back in school 2 times to become the highest paid on-air talent at ESPN, I felt inspired to push through my mind fog. You know, when we read stories of people who have overcome, we believe that we can overcome. When we read stories of people who have had to develop strength in life, we begin to develop strength in our own lives. Reading is a treasure trove of mindset resetting. Try modeling their strategies and mindset. Y'all, it works. I promise you. And then number 4, practice gratitude. It's been proven over and over again that a mindset of gratitude is the most powerful mindset that anybody can have. And when you develop a mindset and a practice of being thankful, you truly see how abundant your life is. Even in the midst of incredible hardship and misery, being thankful for what you have that is positive is a surefire way to lift yourself out of the malaise and fog of scarcity. And as you begin to willfully focus on being thankful, you begin to identify other opportunities for abundance in your life. Listen, friends, developing an abundance mindset will not automatically solve your problems and improve your life overnight, but it begins the process of helping you see that there is always more than what we think there is. There are opportunities that we are missing, ideas that we haven't explored, collaborations that we haven't considered. And it cultivates joy and peace. Give it a try. And let me know how you're doing with it. Email us at thepeppodcast@gmail.com to let us know. And if you find yourself in a scarcity mindset, know that you're not alone and that there are people around to help you. Like I said earlier in the episode, maybe you need a coach or a therapist, but don't allow yourself to fall into shame. This is life. Things happen, but those things can always improve with some shifting on our part by finding people to support us and just by resetting. So the quote of the day is from Tony Robbins, the acclaimed speaker and coach, who says this: "When you show gratitude, fear disappears and abundance appears." Wow, that felt so nice. I'm gonna read it twice. When you show gratitude, fear disappears and abundance appears. I think that's a great way to end the episode. Y'all, thank you so much for rocking with us so far. Episode 8 of the Pep Talk podcast. Y'all, I love you. Keep reviewing, keep rating, keep subscribing. Y'all, tell somebody how this episode has helped you. Tell somebody how the podcast has helped you so far. Tell somebody what you've gotten out of it. Share it on your socials. Let people know that the Pep Talk podcast is cheering you on and coaching you up. And I want to encourage you, y'all. Send those emails to the peppodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to me at _JBSpeaks on Instagram. Reach out to us at Pep Talk Podcast on Twitter. We love hearing from you. We love the community that we are building. You all mean the world to me, and I pray that you would have a mindset filled with gratitude, filled with abundance, and filled with pep. Y'all, this is episode 8 of the Pep Talk podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay, and I hope that you are sufficiently peppy for the rest of your week. Y'all, keep it light, keep it love, keep it peppy. We'll see you next week for episode 9 of the Pep Talk podcast. Y'all be blessed. Bye.